Flipgrid for the virtual Start Talk classroom. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you who we are. We are the team at Start Talk at UTEP, based out of the University of Texas at El Paso. I am Fatima Masoud, instructor of Arabic at the University of Texas at El Paso, and lead instructor in Arabic at Start Talk at UTEP. Our director, Dr. Maissa Khatib, is both the director of the Arabic program and the principal investigator of Start Talk at UTEP. So a quick overview of what this video will cover. We're going to be discussing the tool Flipgrid, which is a video-based discussion format tool. And we're going to target the modes of communication, which are interpersonal communication and presentational speaking. The can-do statement for this video is, I can understand how to use Flipgrid as a tool in my Start Talk virtual classroom. So what is Flipgrid? Flipgrid is a free-to-use video-based discussion platform. It's available as an app and is accessible via the web. For those students who may not have a smartphone, they can access it through a web browser. Instructors can record videos up to 10 minutes long, and students can record videos responding to those instructors and their peers. It's great for on-demand speaking tasks, so anytime you want students to show that they can speak the target language in an on-demand way, so on their own time. The topic portals can be embedded in a learning management system, so if you use something like Canvas or Blackboard, it easily integrates into those systems. And feedback can be given in a text-based or video-based comment form, which can be given privately to the students individually or can be posted publicly to the grid for the entire class to benefit from. Lessons can also be recorded and made available to the class easily, and that is great for those of us who are not using a learning management system or who are not familiar with video recording platforms. It is a great way to streamline that access. Here's an overview of what, once you create your account, what your Flipgrid will look like, showing that it's pretty easy to use. You have your group name, so this is what you would call your entire group, your classroom. They get a join code. You can add a co-pilot for a co-instructor. Here's the button where you can access any options to share up to your class. And you have, it's not populated here, but this is where the topics will be shown. And you have a button very easily to create new topics and provide videos for your students. So we're going to discuss Flipgrid in an online language class. Before I move on, there are so many great tutorials offered by Flipgrid if you just go to flipgrid.com. So this video is not going to cover how to sign up for an account, how to create a grid, or how to create a group. You can go to Flipgrid directly for that information. So we're just going to talk a little bit about how you might utilize those tools in an online language class. So we're going to discuss Flipgrid when it's used in an online language class and base it in the way that we use it for the college level students at the University of Texas at El Paso. I will not be going over how to set up an account, how to create a grid, or how to start recording. Flipgrid offers so many great resources on their website with detailed YouTube videos that you can access and learn from when you decide, if you decide to use this tool in your classroom. So I'm just going to highlight some of the important aspects of your Flipgrid grid that you might want to use as you're thinking about creating your Start Talk language classroom. When you create a topic, you get this area called the topic media space. In that space, you can record short video prompts. And what we like to do is use this to provide comprehensible input from the instructor. Again, you get 10 minutes to do this, so you have a long time to record and provide that immersive language experience in an on-demand way that students can access at virtually any time. The next thing is Flipgrid offers a great way for peers to give feedback on videos. In a face-to-face class, this would happen more naturally, but Flipgrid is a good stand-in. Students can provide video replies and text comments, and that serves as kind of an interaction between students if you're doing on-demand teaching more often than you're doing the live teaching sessions. Flipgrid also offers instructor feedback opportunities, so individualized comments can be made directly on students' work in video format or in text, and you can do this publicly or privately so that the students can get their feedback directly from you. The Flipgrid experience can supplement your live Zoom sessions, and it's a way to extend learning outside of those Zoom sessions in a way that students can access at any time that's convenient for them. Because they're on demand, they are available at any time, so students can return to the lessons that you provide there and continue their learning even after the class session is over. So I'm going to show you an example of how we use Flipgrid in our college level novice Arabic courses. The example that you're going to see is a short example of an interpersonal task in which the students are completing an activity that addresses the can-do statement, I can introduce myself and ask about others.
مرحبا اسمي إلينا أنا من مدينة الباسو أنا جيدة عمري 20 سنة ما اسمك ما اسمك
تشرفنا اسمي عمر
مرحبا اسمي جيسي
مرحبا إلينا اسمي Ashley.
So when we talk about evidence of learning, Flipgrid is great because the evidence of learning is easy to track. Students are recording their videos and you can see what they're learning in the performances that they produce. Your checks for learning are also great. They're easy to track in Flipgrid. You can give your feedback in video-based feedback from the instructor, post that to the grid. You can do text-based feedback, creating a rubric so that students can see where they stand in terms of how well they did or what they need to improve on. And as I said before, since Flipgrid can be used to supplement those live sessions, you can develop your assignments around the grid and embed those checks for learning. You can create a topic that's just to target one can-do statement and keep track of students' progress through the grid. In addition to that, students can self-assess their progress by reviewing their videos after they get your feedback. So because it's all recorded and available 24/7, students have evidence of their progress that they can go back to. And what I like to do in my college level courses is have students go back to the very first video they ever post in our grid by the time we reach the end of the semester, and we do a little reflection on their progress and how much they feel that they have learned. So it provides a lot of opportunities for self-assessment and reflection in your class as well. If you're a new user of Flipgrid, you may want to consider the following things, and these are things that I've run into when implementing it in the college level courses that I teach. The very first thing is Flipgrid truly an interpersonal task? Because the videos may be rehearsed, recorded, and edited, and they often are. That's something you may want to consider. At the top of the video, I talked about this being an example of an interpersonal communication or presentational speaking. So it really just depends on the way you design your assignments. So what I would think about is, what is the purpose of this task and how often you're using Flipgrid, and providing as many opportunities where the on-demand Flipgrid experience can mimic those more impromptu unrehearsed interpersonal communication tasks that we would have in a typical face-to-face classroom. In keeping with that, you want to think about conversation flow. So students can reply to their peers, but the thread is limited. For example, in the sample video that you saw, students were responding to Elena, the student who posted her video. But if Elena wanted to respond to one of those students in that thread, Flipgrid won't create a tree where those replies can be easily tracked. So just keeping that in mind with conversation flow and developing your assignments around that, the conversation won't flow in the same way as it would in a live session. One opportunity that you can take is that there is no limit to the topics you can create once you have your grid. So you could create a bunch of different topics and target very simple phrases depending on the proficiency level you're trying to target. So that's one workaround to that conversation flow issue. And then also keeping in mind, appearing on camera may not be possible for all students. There is a flip filter that pixelates the students' faces, but you want to be aware of what is appropriate for the age ranges of your students. And I would also recommend having a code of conduct or norms for your Flipgrid classroom that you go over with your students before you have your first Flipgrid assignment. Here are some Flipgrid tutorials and resources. As I said, there are so many in there. The Getting Started tutorial will give you a general overview of how to create your account and how to get started. So I highly recommend that. And if you'd like to contact us, our emails are provided here. I hope you learned something new from this. If you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.